Hey everybody, welcome back to Traffic Talk. Hope you're having an awesome week. My name's Adam. Today we've got another LED product review for you. Today we're going to be having a look at these little guys. These are the smart version of these. This is the Fleekin. We did a review on these a week and a half ago. You can check that out up here. These performed really well. Waterproof, truck drove over them, no problems. We were throwing them around the room. They're really good. The downside of these is that they're independent from all of the other ones that you have. So with a set of 6, they don't talk to each other. They're not smart. These are the dumb version. These guys, sort of similar in construction, are the smart version. So these sets of 6 of these that they come in, the biggest difference between these new ones that we're going to be having a look at today and these ones is that these are the smart version. These, when they're all turned on, will all talk with each other and they will either all flash at the same time, or if you set them up in a line, say for a taper, you can have them flashing sequentially down the taper. We did a test and released a video, it's only a short video, about 3 or 4 days ago. You can check that one out up here, which was a comparison test between these guys and these guys when placed under a traffic cone in a taper. These were actually really impressive. Since they talk to each other, they make that taper look really good and obvious in which direction a motorist has to merge. These guys created a little bit of visual mess because they're flashing all over the place and they simply didn't light it up as well. These ones have lights on top as well as around the outside. So that's a huge advantage when you're trying to light upwards. All in all, very similar product in terms of its presentation to the older version or the dumb version. Wall charger, car charger. The case has the little electrical contacts in there. So you drop them in, you plug your case in, you then run that to this particular one to your car. So it can charge while you're driving along before you get to work. Once you finish work and you packed everything up, stick it on charge it while you're driving home, and then while you're driving to work tomorrow. The battery life on these is pretty similar to the dumb version. We did a test and got roughly 72 hours of continuous operation, so day, night, not just turning it on during the day. I turned it on Tuesday morning, today's Friday, and they were still going. So shitloads of life in the batteries, and they weren't even fully charged when I tested that. They came straight out of the box from China. I turned one on and just let it go. Case is pretty sturdy. It's a black case. There's a recess here that you can put a sticker on to label it for your company. It's, you know, there's not much movement in there with them, so the case can be knocked around a little bit, but your devices inside are going to be safe. There's specific locations for the car charger and the wall charger, so they don't get lost. It's pretty visual when something's missing to identify pretty quickly that you've missed something. So if that's not in there, then you kind of go, oh shit, something missing from that spot, better go find it. It's a pretty standard blow molded case. It's been screwed together here. There's obviously some electronics and cables inside to be able to facilitate the charging at each location. So it's all pretty standard. We are going to get stuck into a water test. We're going to drive over them. We're going to do a shock test, so we'll throw them around same as the last ones, and let's see how they compare. That's not a good sign. Let's take these guys back inside, have a bit of a look. Okay, we're back inside. We've just driven over these ones in a truck, not a huge truck. It'd be an 8-ton truck, single rear axle. All of them, or 3 of them that I put out there, turned off, that you'll see in the footage, or that you would have seen already. Let's turn this guy off. Okay, this guy doesn't want to turn off. LEDs on top are randomly, with a little bit of pressure on top there, they're starting to flash. The button for them is working. So we can turn those on and off still. They're off, we're just flashing around the outside. The button to change the flash pattern around here doesn't seem to be working, and we're still having that issue with the LEDs on top just randomly flashing with a little bit of pressure. Obviously something's broken in there, contacts for a switch or a button or something. That's quite annoying. I'm going to put that over there. The other ones were these ones that we ran over. Now, hopefully it doesn't get in the way. 1, 2, and 3. So they don't even want to turn on. I should have got some footage of in the back of the truck, but it wasn't fully loaded. It's managed to kill these. You can see on the bottom here, you might be able to see on the bottom here, it's a fairly rigid, like this battery cover that's got the magnet and the charging contacts in there is a rigid plastic. The rubber around it that sits on the bottom is an elastomeric, is flexible, so they haven't sustained any damage. But around the contacts here, now that's only with one truck driving over it reasonably slowly. If it was multiple vehicles, it'd, same with that one, but you can probably see a bit of that there. There's no obvious cracks or breaks or anything on the top. The obvious thing, of course, is that I can't get any of them to turn on. Okay, so if you're out in the field and you've got these set up in your taper or somewhere else, and someone chooses to drive over them, chances are they're going to die. I was going to try it in my car first. After the water test, I lost a bit of confidence in these. I was going to try it in mine first because they don't feel and look as sturdy as the ones that we reviewed before. That's really disappointing. I'm surprised, given that they're marketed as a trafficable LED road flare. I really love the way that they sync up. This one here has obviously been broken in a different way. See if we can turn it off. No, that one's cactus. They are a rechargeable battery pack that live in them. Obviously the cover screws over the case just there and clips in. And even though the orange on this particular one, go away. Even though the orange covering on this is rubberized, it doesn't create a particularly good seal around there for the battery. So you can probably hopefully see in here, it's got these two little cutouts there and there. And then on the battery cover, you've got these two little hooks that go in there. So when they hook in there, the flat spot that runs around, put that in the bin. The flat spot that runs all the way around for that battery cover to sit into is non-existent in these parts through here. So when we clip it in and put a screw in it, through these two sections here, we don't have any ingress protection. It is fundamentally flawed in its design. This battery pack This battery pack's still reading 3.9 volts, so the battery pack itself is fine. Spectacles. It's been a couple of days. We've taken this out, let it dry out. I say we like there's more people here than just me, but there's not, it's just me. You might not be able to see, but in the top here, there is some discoloring around some sections of that little PCB. There is some evidence of some moisture still in there, and I'd never recommend connecting a battery to it under normal conditions, but we're here to test it. Okay, this was the problem with this one last time, and this one also does not want to turn off. It doesn't want to change its flash pattern. You can see that when I push that button, it registers what it did before. There you go, so red, and then it switches off, usually. But now it chooses to stay on and randomly turn on the LED lights at the top. There should be no maintenance required for these. I'm surprised they even bother putting this on top. Why not just mold the whole thing in? There's also 4 screws around here to be able to unscrew the bottom half from the top half. I suspect when we looked at the last one, we saw that there was a rubber seal that ran between the two halves of the rigid plastic or the rigid clear plastic body of the device. This one doesn't have that, but there is a join in there between the two halves of the case. So the concern for me is that it's not sealed. Well, it's obviously not sealed through the battery compartment, but I also suspect that there is an water ingress issue around the two halves of the clear enclosure, which is frustrating because all it takes is a little rubber seal, a proper rubber seal around that, or design that out and get rid of that. In here, these can also take, what are they, AA's? Yep. These can also take 3 AA batteries to power it. Also, this little battery pack is obviously custom made for this device. I haven't done a drop test on these. We haven't thrown them to try and get them to break to see how brittle or durable they are. The first thing we did was the water test. Same as the last ones. We got a big bucket of water. We threw a couple in. They floated, they kept flashing. About 5-7 minutes later, I went and I took them out and attempted to use them, and 2 of them were okay. The other amber one was floating that way. And actually, now that I move this around, you can still see plenty of water in I'm not sure if you're going to be able to see it, but there is still water floating around the LEDs on the top. Yes, this is the one that we actually proper killed in the water. So this one won't even turn on. I haven't bothered to take this off yet. There is still condensation and water inside of that. which you may be able to see through there. There's condensation through this little window in here. You can see it on the inside of that case. It's actually rather disappointing. Yeah, they're magnetic, right? Same as the other ones. Same as these ones. When I posted the video of the cone test, which was these under a traffic cone, under various different types of traffic cones, they lit up the cone really well. The visibility of these over these was a lot better. These also had the huge advantage that between up to 12 of them, so 2 sets of these, they will sync in order with each other based on the order that you turn them on, which is great, but they also have to be able to take a car driving over them. We took it to an extreme with a truck, not a particularly heavy truck, certainly not a B-double or anything outrageous, but a heavy vehicle, or a medium rigid vehicle, that particular one. Disappointing that it didn't survive that test. Disappointing that it didn't survive the water test. Not that, look, there might be circumstances where it ends up in a puddle, or it ends up on an area of road and it starts raining, and yes, it can deal with water from the top, but then you've got this overland water flow across the camber of your road to go and find a gutter. If one of these is in the way, fully understanding how gravity works, but that is going to end up being soaked through there, and through capillary action, potentially has the ability to be able to draw that water up into the casing and kill it. I was expecting more, I was hoping for more. These ones, I bought the set of these from a trade show in Melbourne. From the same supplier, I bought these ones. Now, these cost $100 because they were here at the trade show, cash. These ones shipped from China to here ended up costing me $268 for one unit air shipped. I was expecting a lot more. The Pilot, the genuine or original version of these, retails for about $1,000 here for a set of, I think there's only 5 because they come with a square case, and there's 1, 2, they come with a square case and the handles set into the case, so you only get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in the set. We might have to try and get our hands on a set of those to see if they perform better than the knockoff Chinese version. But it's just left a bad taste in my mouth, to be honest. They promised to be as durable as these. They're not. They're not as waterproof. They can't take a load on top. These seem far too delicate for what they're intended for. The intention of these is to be put on a road and take a little bit of abuse. They certainly don't seem to be capable of being able to do that. I'm not sure what to say. Would I recommend buying these online or out of China? No. Not until there is a new model available that is waterproof and is more shockproof. And well, we didn't test for the shock, to be honest, and I don't have one that works to be able to test for shock anymore. I'm regretting putting 4 of them out to be run over by a truck, so now I've got none that work. I mean, that's what this whole thing is all about. Can we break them? We broke it. The next step for me, I guess, given what it is that I do here, yes, we review products like this, but we also design and prototype products for industry and for customers. That's pretty much our core business here. I'm half thinking about making a better version of this, something that is waterproof, is durable, is smart, has the lights in the top, has very similar functions to this, and frankly I don't think it'd be particularly particularly difficult. Even without opening this up and seeing what components are in there, I think we could come up with a way better version. The drama would be, and this isn't what I do here, but mass producing these to be able to come out with a reasonable per unit cost. That would be the deal breaker for me. It's actually rather disappointing. Anyway, there you have it. Water test failed. Durability test in terms of being driven over by a vehicle failed. Didn't have a chance to do any other tests. Under a cone, awesome. So if you're working on a road that doesn't have cars or the potential for these to be driven over and you can guarantee no rain, these are perfect. If it's cloudy with a chance of meatballs and you've got cars driving in proximity to these, probably not great. Probably not a great choice. I'm just disappointed that I had to break all 6. I thought it would have passed that test with flying colours. Given this one, no dramas at all. Really disappointed in this one. I thought we were onto a winner. There's been a lot of really good feedback about the visual of these under a cone. I'm half regretting putting that video out now because everyone's waiting for the review of this to see how it goes in the other categories. Now, they get to be disappointed because these are actually rubbish. They're a toy compared to these, but these are dumb, these are smart. What's the trade-off? There's got to be a happy medium somewhere. If Pilot wants to send me a version of theirs so we can do all those same tests, let's have at it. Would love to be able to get them out there. Because I think the idea of these has gained a bit of traction. Unarguably makes your taper more visual at night if you put these under a cone and you have the light shining up. It's undeniable. These, I agree with most of the comments. These, when you turn them on, because they don't sync with each other, they make the taper look messy and confusing. So I wouldn't be putting these under my taper. I wouldn't be putting these under my cones. I would put these on a flash pattern kind of like that in the taper, but not to light up the cone. What's the difference? Well, the difference is that when you light up the cone, it's a lot more obvious than a line of flashing beacons on the ground. Even one like that in the taper, that when you've got 6 in a row, it doesn't matter whether or not they're synced up. It's not creating that visual go this way line. This creates a visual line which, for all intents and purposes, is somewhat solid. And when they are laid out, they don't sync up, but it doesn't matter because they're not flashing once every second or so. They're constantly flashing and moving, so the visual of that would be acceptable. I wouldn't go buying these from China unless you're prepared to be disappointed and understand that they are not durable. Yes, they will provide an excellent level of visual in a taper as long as nothing goes wrong, as long as it doesn't rain too heavily and as long as they don't get driven over. They'll be great. If you want to take that risk, buy them. Otherwise, we need to look at another option. I'll certainly be working on making my version of these, a smart fleekin. Whether or not they actually go to market, I don't know. I just like the idea of tinkering and having a crack at making something that is that does this, but is more durable than this. So let's see how we go. Watch this space. Guys, thanks very much for watching. Disappointing end to this review. Can't recommend this product at all. Watch this space to see if we can find something that is a better fit for industry. For the time being, thanks very much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to Traffic Talk down here and check out some of the other videos that we've got happening up there. Have a great day.